Dun 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 Shows World.
Welcome to Shows World Gamers. Josh here, and today I wanted to go over this year's nominees for the Game Awards, which take place on December 8th. We will take a look at some of the nominations, and I'll give my picks, and I'll discuss any games I think should have been included that may not have been. All right, we're not going to discuss every category. I may skip a few, but let's go over a few of the categories and nominees, and we will start with Mr. Keeley's announcement of the nominations, and I will give my thoughts after each category. So, without further ado.
In the category of Best Multiplayer, the nominees are Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Multiversus, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
All right, I really want to give this award to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, but unfortunately, as much as I love that game, it was just too short. Now, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is my favorite Call of Duty game in years. The multiplayer has regained that feel of my favorite classic Call of Duty games, and that's why it's my pick for Best Multiplayer Game of the Year.
The nominees for Best Art Direction are Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray.
For Best Art Direction, I chose God of War Ragnarok because this is one of the most impressive looking and well designed games I have ever played. The character design is top notch with unbelievable amounts of detail, and the world really draws you into this amazing story.
For Best Score and Music, the nominees are Olivier Derivière, A Plague Tale Requiem, Susaka Sato, Elden Ring, Bear McCreary, God of War Ragnarok, Two Feathers, Metal Hellsinger, and Yasunori Mitsuda, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
My pick here is Metal Hellsinger, and if you watched my video on this game, you'll know that I wasn't really the biggest fan. That being said, the music is ingrained into the gameplay, making those hard metal riffs feel that much more intense. This game was designed around the music and fits perfectly into the visuals, atmosphere, and gameplay. That's why it's my pick for Best Music.
For Best Independent Game, the nominees are Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic.
Now, this was a really tough category for me. If Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge was here, and really it should be, it would have been my first choice. But since it is absent, I ended up going with Tunic. I really enjoyed this game. It felt like a real hard version of those old school Zelda games like from the Super Nintendo with A Link to the Past. But I could make an argument for any of these titles to win. They're all good games, and this was a really close race.
The nominees for Best Action Game are Bayonetta 3, Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
In this category, I went with Bayonetta 3. Although I enjoyed Shredder's Revenge once again, I just couldn't pick it because it was just too short. Now, Bayonetta is a big, fast, action intense game, and although I personally think this is where Elden Ring belongs over being in the RPG category, since it's not here, my pick goes to Bayonetta 3.
The Best Action Adventure Game nominees are A Plague Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic.
All right, now this was another really deep category, but once again, I have to go with God of War Ragnarok. The gameplay and action is intense, and the beautiful world is a joy to explore. So that's why I picked it as the best action adventure game.
For Best RPG, the jury selected Elden Ring, Live Alive, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Now, in this category, I'm going with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 here because this is the type of game I want when I'm looking for a role playing game. After the disappointing second game, Monolith Soft got the series back on track with this awesome entry.
The Best Fighting Game nominees are DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, The King of Fighters 15, Multiversus, and Sifu.
Now, I have not played many of the fighting games in this category, but I did recently get my hands on DNF Duel and really enjoyed it. On a side note, I know there isn't a lot of fighting games being announced at this time, but Sifu is not a fighting game. It's a single player beat 'em up. It definitely should not have been here.
What's the most anticipated upcoming game? Remember, these have to be games that are officially announced. The nominees are Final Fantasy XVI, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Starfield, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Now, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is one of the best games ever made. I have been eagerly anticipating the sequel for years now. I can't wait to jump back into Hyrule and experience the game. That's why The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is definitely my personal most anticipated game.
Next up, Best Family Game. The nominees are Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3.
This was another good category with some really fun games, but in the end, I had to go with Splatoon 3. The game plays well, has a lot of content, and is a game that will be enjoyed for years to come with friends and family. It just has more playability than Kirby. Even though I loved that game, I had to go with Splatoon 3.
This year, these 5 games are nominated for Best Sports Racing: F1 22, FIFA 23, NBA 2K23, Gran Turismo 7, and Ollie Ollie World.
Now, this category was really pretty disappointing to me. Out of the games that was presented to us here, I decided to go with NBA 2K23. That being said, I really feel that both NHL 23 and MLB The Show not being here is a huge disappointment. And if either of those games were here, they would get my pick over any of these nominations.
For Best Game Direction, which recognizes outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design, the nominees are Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, and Stray.
Elden Ring is my pick for Best Game Direction. It took that Souls-style game and expanded on every part of it as they moved it to open world, creating a style and blueprint that other games will use for inspiration for years to come.
The nominees for Game of the Year at the Game Awards are A Plague Tale Requiem from Asobo Studio and Focus Entertainment, Elden Ring by From Software and Bandai Namco Entertainment, God of War Ragnarok from Sony Santa Monica and Sony Interactive Entertainment, Horizon Forbidden West from Guerrilla Games and Sony Interactive Entertainment, Stray from Blue 12 Studio and Annapurna Interactive, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3 from Monolith Soft and Nintendo.
All right, now for the big one, Game of the Year. Now, while everybody seems to be on one of two sides with either God of War Ragnarok or Elden Ring, I have no idea how Stray made it in this category. I played the game, and personally, I don't think it makes it in the top 3 indie games of the year list, let alone Game of the Year. But moving back to my pick, I loved God of War Ragnarok, but Elden Ring is a generation-defining game. This game has so much content, so much hidden lore, and everything is so well designed. This game will be considered a benchmark for years to come and will definitely be near the top of the best games of all time list for years to come. So that's my pick. Game of the Year, Elden Ring. All right, gamers, I have to say this is a pretty fun year in gaming. I know there was a lot of delays that pushed some big titles out of this year, but when games like A Plague's Tale Requiem and Horizon Forbidden West, which are 2 amazing games, are not favorites to win awards, you know there were some bangers this year. But let me know your thoughts on the picks and who you're rooting for. Thanks for joining us today, gamers. Shows World out.